Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve, and David is not with us today. Instead, we have a guest, Tony.
Hi, how's it going?
We're doing a special episode to celebrate the 100th episode of the main podcast, and we're going to talk about Akira. Tony and I are the same age, and we've had very similar anime experiences. And that experience is we are part of the second wave of American anime enthusiasts who were essentially introduced to the medium via Akira. Was Akira your introduction to anime as a product all of its own?
In a sense, yes.
Okay.
It was because of a friend that was wearing an Akira t-shirt. The time when that was weird to see. Like, it was a very rare thing in our scene, like in the weirdos and goth industrial and all of that at the time. Like, rivet heads, you expect to see this kind of thing, right? And just see this guy come walking up in a pair of camouflage shorts and a red t-shirt with Kaneda stepping away from the bike. And so we started having a conversation. I had seen some anime, and it was only like Vampire Hunter D, maybe at that point in time.
Sure.
So like I've got to be 14, 15 at the point where I finally saw this. So like 94, 95.
So my introduction to Akira was the end of 93.
Okay.
I went over to a guy I knew's house, and he just had his VHS copy of it playing. The point with which he was into the movie was when Kaneda and Kei were breaking out of the prison that they had gotten thrown in by the government after Tetsuo attacked the nursery and then starts heading off to the Olympic facility.
Okay.
So I picked up from that point, an hour and a half into the movie. And immediately, without understanding any of the context, asking the guy I knew a couple of questions, I was hooked. And then I think a couple weeks later, he brought the tape over to my house, and then I was able to actually watch it. He was like, "Oh, you're interested in this? This is a thing. Here's Black Magic M66. Here is RG Veta, MD Geist." So like 93, 94, 14-year-old impressionable. This is the stuff that I was introduced to.
My actual introduction to anime was because my folks came home with something from a rummage sale. I'm pretty sure I was there. And this was the time when the Transformers had all the pieces, like you could get like the Constructicons.
Yes.
And and of course Voltron, like all these things together. But they had found like a larger one. And I don't know if maybe they thought it was, same franchise or whatever, but it was like the Macross, like
nice
aircraft carrier. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without breaking it as a kid. And I never really put two and two together at that point in time. It wasn't until we had moved when I was like 10 and our neighbors knew what it was.
So did you not watch Robotech as a kid?
No.
Oh,
because I was like 10 when I wound up finally watching it.
Oh, yeah, no, I was
like I got that when I was like 9. So it was like a good year when I was trying to figure this out. And the guy across the street was like, "Let me introduce you to a world of nerdery." Like
Robotech was technically my official introduction into anime, Macross.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it every afternoon at my babysitter's house when I was in kindergarten, I think it was.
Okay.
So I've been watching anime for pretty much all of my life, but it wasn't until my teenage years that I understood the concept of anime.
For sure.
Versus this is just another cartoon. I mean, so many of the American created cartoons at that time were also being created by Japanese studios. Undoubtedly, Akira is the linchpin in the second wave of anime enthusiasts in the West. And it sparked global appreciation and attention to anime as a medium. The first wave of anime fandom, theoretically, is the end of the 70s, early 80s, with a lot of the college kids getting material from Japan like Star Blazers and Gatchaman and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then the second wave was ushered in at the end of the 80s by Akira and really fermented in the first half of the 90s.
And it might be, though, that like I came in late and just because of like, my friends group changing after moving from different parts of the city, etc. My introduction to it, though, and I recall because it was the same point in my life where I was now being introduced to My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult and KMFDM and all of that. And you get those tapes and every single one of them starts with KMFDM angst.
Yes. That was
oh, not angst. It was
that was Manga Video, their promo.
It was all the like Macross Plus and like it was that coalescence of like two things I loved and like scenes that I was involved in.
Yeah.
And I found way many more anime nerds in that community.
Oh, yeah. So the thing with that second wave of anime was ushered in by all of these distribution companies popping up. Like ADV showed up, Manga Entertainment showed up, all of these showed up and they started pushing these products. And now this is like the tail end of the Japanese economic bubble. And the economic bubble, one of the things it did was it made a lot of cash available for small projects. So you get this burst of startups in animation studios doing whatever. That's how you get MD Geist. And Akira was very successful, the manga. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was, there was an auction in Japan for a copy of the first issue that Akira appeared in Young Magazine. It sold for 1 million yen.
That's crazy.
So Akira was always really successful. And then Katsuhiro Otomo, for a long time, had wanted to get into movie making.
Yeah.
He had gotten tapped to be part of the team that made the movie Armageddon. And I think he was character design, art director, something like that.
Okay.
Like he wasn't the director of it, but he was part of the process of it. That encouraged him to like, no, I think I can do this.
Sure.
And people started floating the idea of doing Akira as an anime. And then he at first, apparently, according to Wikipedia, was resistant to it and then was like, well, if I can control it, then we'll do it. And thus the Akira production committee was put together and he was pretty much in charge of running the whole production.
Okay. And
while also making the manga.
It kind of makes a little sense, though, from what I was...
Before that, his first directorial debut was he did the directing for Neo Tokyo.
Wasn't there something about how he was kind of burnt out from...
I'm sure he was.
Like, there was something going on, and, like, Akira was, like, a second chance, was, like, something that he wanted to, like, have ongoing.
I think he had already been a professional manga artist for about 8 or 10 years before he started with Akira.
Okay, that's... Yeah.
But Akira was, like, it was successful pretty quickly.
Okay.
And kind of cemented him forever in the annals of animation. And
yeah, I think what it was that I was reading, and I don't want to like go too far because I could be wrong. It
Sure.
could be confusing another story, but it was just that he was like other things that were going on, and he was burnt out from the work, and he wasn't enjoying the product.
Could have been.
And so a part of it was like Akira was this other story that he wanted to write, and it was actually like a healing thing for him and a catalyst because like other folks were like really getting into it.
You might be that may have happened, but that really sounds like what happened to Anno with Evangelion.
Really?
So a lot of people talk about Akira in it representing post-war anxiety following World War II, you know, the whole social psychic trauma from the atomic bombings in Japan and how that permeates throughout the culture. A lot of people talk about that as being a huge influence in Akira visually and story-wise and a lot of its themes. But one thing I've been trying to get to the bottom of for, at least 10 years now at this point, is I suspect some of the themes in Akira might also be a direct result from the student uprisings that happened in Japan in 68 and 69. Otomo was born in the early 50s, so he wouldn't have been part of these student protests, but he would have been a teenager that would have been clued into, you know, what's happening in the news.
Yeah.
I think what ties that is how there was this focus of the student uprisings in the beginning of it, fighting against the austerity packages and the difficulties with the government just being able to run things properly in this new age of fancy decay.
There's a ton of reference to like other stories that are being told with like yote and other spiritual beliefs that wind up being influenced 100% by the environmental impacts from the war and pieces like that. Like those stories keep coming out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And then this one like pours a little bit more into it though, with like all of that psychic like trauma. Look at the characters themselves that had the power were all very like physically manipulated by it as well. Like,
well, they were governmental experiments.
Right. And they just keep like showing
all of the numbered children.
It's a recurring kind of theme. That, like, and the government is the bad guy, in control of all of it. They were the ones behind it the entire time. And then there's always another convoluted way to get to it. Other reference to it. Like think about like kaiju movies in general. Like bring in Godzilla. Bring in, like all of this. Like
Godzilla is undoubtedly, you know, a response to the trauma of the end of the war and, you know, atomic anxiety.
Right.
I mean, I'm not discrediting more learned people than I in their ideas of it, but I also think that everybody is missing this other thing dealing with those student uprisings.
Yeah.
I've just felt that with Otomo and a lot of his peers that this was an impactful thing in their development as well.
And I didn't want to discount that because like the protests and the action throughout the movie though, like the civil unrest and just like the way that everybody's just force-fed through this machinery of bureaucracy at the police station, all of those pieces really call back to like what I would have expected from that as well. You know, I even recall like thinking about that gymnasium scene and like looking at it remembering it and then thinking about things that are happening in our lives. Like during Hurricane Katrina, when everybody was like in all the gyms in Houston and things like that, and you'd see that on the
for
news.
the emergency housing stuff. Yeah.
Right. Immediately my brain would connect back though to something like this that I saw as an image. And I don't know how messed up that makes me, but like, all right.
Otomo was part of what's referred to as the new wave of manga artists in the 70s and 80s.
Sure.
That were kind of, by some people's references, throwing off the shackles of the manga system that had been rigid since the post-war years. And a lot of it was characterized by the higher level of detail, the higher level of realism. Otomo himself has talked about how he strives to draw characters that look real, that look like normal human beings in all shapes and forms and various levels of ugliness and beauty. I think the thing to say with Otomo's work in general is it's not necessarily idealized. It's not stylized. Yes, it's very heavily mechanically detailed, and there's a lot of fantastic elements that happen. When you look at the characters and the settings that they're within, it's not really idealized. It's not sensationalized.
No, it's not.
And that was kind of part of the new wave ethos that helped to encourage more artists coming out of the 80s and into the 90s. Like, I'm sure, what's his name, who wrote Berserk, might have been influenced by some of that.
I feel that not only is like the reference and the influence there, but the way that I've been trying to look at this as I've been like preparing to come here and have this conversation is just sort of like everything that it didn't do that we see now as like our tropes, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have somebody that you're like, oh, that's the main character. There wasn't like these things that call to anime these days of what we expect. It was more of a like, this is a world that we're getting. Like the only thing that I feel is like the most stylized with that is the whole Neo Tokyo and cyberpunk.
It's cliche, but Neo Tokyo is a character.
100%.
Otomo was very heavily influenced by Alejandro Jodorowsky and Mobius and the worlds that they were creating in the 60s and 70s with a lot of the stuff they were writing for
like
the
Holy Mountain
for the French version of heavy metal.
Okay.
The manga ran from 82 to 90. So the movie was made about 3/4 of the way through its run. Have you ever read the manga?
I have not.
It's a very different story up to a certain point. In the movie, we get the momentary resurrection of Akira and then the consequences of Tetsuo's power. And then the sealing of that power with the help of all the three of the kids.
Yep.
And Akira, obviously. In the manga, at the halfway point, Akira comes back and he stays back.
Oh.
It's been maybe 10 years since I last read it, so I don't remember the specifics. The city gets blown up and the manga picks up, I think it was 6 months afterwards. Tokyo has been made a no-go zone by the world governments. The city is essentially a lawless area where there are different factions vying for control. The primary faction is the cult of Akira, where Akira is the figurehead, and it's all of the fanatics rallying behind it, and Tetsuo is a part of that.
Oh.
I can't remember. There's another faction that's vying against it that some of the people that Kei were working with, I believe, were involved in, that were trying to like just stop Tetsuo and stop Akira and kind of return things to normal. Scant remnants of the military is there trying to do things. So like the colonel is still trying to like stop what's going on.
Okay.
Kaneda's just existing with his friends that still live. So according to the Wikipedia article, Otomo was really struggling with how to end the story. And apparently he got to the ending of the manga by having a conversation with Alejandro Jodorowsky. And I don't know what context that leads to, but the end of the manga is pretty fantastic.
I knew that there was a manga. I knew that it existed. I just never read it.
It is a vastly different story in a lot of ways.
I mean, that always winds up happening. How many things can you call out in general, though, that like refer to Akira? Like,
Ghost in the Shell was inspired in some ways by the Akira manga.
Right. I mean, looking just at the animation though, and the like the especially the transformation of Tetsuo, that like bioorganic like shifting flesh, that
the body
like,
horror
that is very, very specific there. But like one of them that I would say I recently called to and didn't realize it until I watched some more of the 1,000-year Blood War arc was Bleach. Like,
oh sure.
Like Mayuri's Bankai and like his entire thing, his like that baby changing and morphing and all of that is so referential to that, like that style of animation, that kind of like techno organic mess. Yeah. Like,
Well, I know creator of Naruto, whose name I can't think of, he has listed Katsuhiro Otomo as one of his influences.
Well, you could totally tell that too if you're thinking about like through Shippuden, especially all the like transformative pieces with the 10 tails and just sort of like the white Setsu, the black Setsu, and like how everything interacted.
Yep.
I totally get that. There's a lot of that there.
Helps solidify cyberpunk, I feel, aesthetically.
It's the curves of the pipes. It's the like neon glow of everything, and like just
the gritty futurism.
It's the future trash that like really like draws you into it because it's not clean. It's not pretty.
No, it's not the 1950s American sci-fi where everything is slick and sleek.
Right, and it's like people surviving and like
it's struggling to survive.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And like I read Neuromancer at a very young age because same neighbors gave me that. And so like all of that has fed like what I expected my future to look like for years now.
Unfortunately, we've only gotten the bad parts of the cyberpunk future, like corporate warfare and private militaries. Up until the point that Akira came out, we really still had a vague idea of the visualization of a cyberpunk urban environment. The best example would be, the primary one, which is Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner would totally do it. But like what also kind of got me was just a little bit of the I understand it's different cultures, but it's the 80s Big Trouble in Little China.
Sure.
Like you get that like bright neon like Asian influence into everything in like an alleyway. I feel that it's always connected. What are your key pieces of these like cities and these views? It's tunnels, it's alleyways, it's neon, it's like
it's the city with no sky, enhanced by a lot of the story taking place at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the Blade Runner aesthetic right there.
Yeah.
But outside of Blade Runner, a lot of the stories that would fit within that ethos didn't have the production quality or the production cost to be able to like fully realize that type of environment.
No, not at all.
But Akira being something that's just on paper with pen and ink.
Right.
And I think they spent 1.5 years making the movie. I may be wrong. I was trying to look it up. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's like a half-an-hour special called the Akira Production Report that talks about the production process. They would even fully animate character movement even if it was not seen. So there's the part where after all the guys get released from lockup and they're at school and they're leaving it right before Tetsuo breaks out, where they're all walking and the younger guy throws up the blood. All of the characters that were in that scene were fully animated in their own individual cells, even though you might not see all of them moving at all of the times. And the entire movie is that level of detail and attention.
And there's so much to it and so much that wasn't actually included when you could extend all of these scenes out that this could have been like a larger film or even
it was already big anyways.
Yeah. It could have been 2 smaller movies or like however they wanted to do it. But like part of the release and part of the marketing was to try and get as much of an audience as possible with like as much they could show. Like they wanted this to be flashy. That was a part of what I was reading about the marketing behind it. And then just the fact that like, of course, there's going to be US distribution with it.
Yeah. It was, the movie was distributed about 1 year later in America.
Yeah. It was,
and it did relatively well. I was looking up the ticket sales earlier. The 89 release did $2 million in movie sales.
Because I had heard that when it was re-released in theaters,
it didn't do as good in America.
Yeah, exactly. And it was re-released and it didn't do that great.
Something tells me it might have been a more limited release.
But there's also something about the fact that like it was sort of the linchpin of like opening up a lot more Western viewers to it because of the quality of the animation. But it was like 94, 95, I started seeing and became much more aware of like a lot more merchandise.
There was a lot more merchandising. Well, that was the cusp of the explosion of anime as a concept in Western thought.
Fair enough. I mean,
like that's when Blockbuster started carrying
and they had
VHSs.
It was hilarious to me how many times you could walk into like a Blockbuster or something and it was just like, oh, animation is cartoons, it's for kids, and like
yet at the same time they'll have stickers on it. They'll have stickers on it, not for kids. I saw that on a Robotech tape once. I'm like, that's funny as shit. Nobody is paying attention. Back in the tape days, the Akira Production Report existed on its own individual tape.
Okay.
Now, with like the special edition versions of Akira, it's usually included with the disc.
Gotcha.
So it goes through the painstaking process, the amount of people that were working on it, the colors that they custom created for everything. Like, it's intense.
Yeah.
The recording process for the voicing, the musical implementation, which I didn't realize until recently because I finally read the biography of the group that created the soundtrack.
Sure.
They're weird.
I hadn't read that.
They were kind of cultish, but in like a theater troupe kind of cultish thing.
They were really, really good in making an atmosphere. That tribal drum that you kind of get through everything, like leading through like the Kaneda main theme. And then there's the one that's it's during the protest and there's like the rain is starting to, I think it's called Rain.
It might be.
And I think that's one I've got like a really cool tech house remix of. Throw that on every once in a while. But all of those pieces really just, you can kind of see it. You can kind of feel it. Like,
Yeah.
Like when I'm listening to it, and especially when you hear like the thunder and everything in the beginning, like if you're hanging out, it's like, oh, dude, yeah, no, it's like a rainstorm. That's awesome.
Tetsuo's theme.
Okay, Tetsuo's theme.
A number of years ago, even though I've read the liner notes of the CD countless times, it's never clicked.
Okay.
That's purely based on a indigenous Indonesian style of music called gamelan. All the recordings I've ever listened to of it are just as badass. It's the coolest shit.
Okay.
Over my lifetime, I think I've purchased 3 copies of the soundtrack.
I know I've had 2.
Because I'd either destroy it or lose it.
I've had 2 because I gave one away. I still have.
I probably need to replace my current version because it's kind of worse for wear right now.
I've got it in a clear CD case. It's a 2. It's the crystal case that opens up, and there's 2 sides, and then there's like on the inside you can see the that very iconic black and white picture of like the white explosion for Neo Tokyo. The dome. I need that on a shirt. Still never found the shirt that the dude wore that like first introduced me to the art of Akira either.
If Akira is anything, it's aesthetics.
Oh, 100%.
Like the coolness factor of Akira is undoubtable, and I think might be one of the biggest things that it's been influential for.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I mean, we've had, mature adult serious stories before in animation and otherwise, but
right.
The aesthetics of Akira, I think, is the strongest component.
Well, I mean, even think about sort of like, so the Clown Gang, right? They've got more of that Mad Maxy kind of like, they got the
cobbled together.
Yeah. You've got the junkyard bikes. I dug the masks and the way that they like wore their helmets and things like that. They had a good character design outside of the clownish bullshit.
It was really just the one dude's facial tattoos.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, dude, yeah. And of course, it was the boss, right? He's the boss.
Of course.
And of course, he's got to give me that feeling of, yeah, you're totally the type of guy that's got to ride a trike. Like,
these are my war boys.
Right, 100%. Somebody's just going to come flying up and around the side, just like witness me and spraying silver fruit, like frosting into his mouth.
There are so many aspects of the movie that are just ingrained in my brain, and one of them is right when the leader of the clown, whose name's I forget what his name. He has a name. I don't remember what it is. When he shows up, and there's the dude in the sidecar that hops up and hits him with that pipe that he just has all this stuff attached to do maximum damage. What still sticks with me is just the design of his character, his outfit, his attitude, the way he frames himself. I guess it's really just that entire chase scene in the beginning of the movie, through them rushing the intersection and then they attack that car and like blow it up with a Molotov. The dude getting thrown through the window in the fancy restaurant.
It moves so fast and they do it so well that like it's not as corny as you feel like some of these other chase scenes and things that you wind up watching are. Like, it educated a lot, even though being animation, because it was choreographed well, it was programmed well, and like the money that they dumped in it at the time to be able to create that.
But just the attention to detail is amazing.
But now you've got people that do that same thing and try to bring that to like life as close as possible. Like even the guys, now I can't remember their names, that did Winter Soldier. That whole giant chase scene in the beginning with them trying to get to Bucky and him jumping off the bike, like a lot of that is educated by what they're looking for there. And I think it's just awesome. I've mostly focused on my love of it just because it was an intro thing for me. It was like it was something that I just loved to have on in the background. And like, again, the music, the background noise of it alone was just something that I really, really loved.
It's comforting.
Yeah. I hadn't really gotten to any of the stories and thinking about it the way that like you had just mentioned though, about like the post-World War II anxiety and like all of those different impacts until just the other day. I could tell you like so many times we see the reference in like The Simpsons did it. Christopher Nolan did it in Batman the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like everybody does this damn slide with the motorcycle in some way,
Kaneda
shape, or
slide.
form. Yeah. And I love it. Like, I'm always there for it. Like, I am going to get a cat doing that out of a litter box as a tattoo. I swear to you. I still recall how many times, like, me and literally anybody was just like looking for somebody that would like have a concept out for a motorcycle that was at least similar to this bike.
Everybody still wants Kaneda's bike to be like functionally real.
There's no way you can, though. There's no way.
I know people have done like mock-ups.
Yeah, like
I don't know if there's. I mean, production-wise, like it's never going to happen.
It makes no sense. And it just like being a
yeah,
person,
your turn radius has got to be garbage on that thing.
Being a person who now regularly rides a motorcycle and works on it, like those massive like conduction discs. Like even Toyota, like man, I drive a hybrid outside of the Harley. Like Toyota's already figured out how to make those things way smaller. And
yeah. I think I have realistically watched Akira over 200 times.
I can't give that because I know how many times I would toss that on because like no joke, at one point that was like a comfort film. Like you'd leave something on to like fall asleep to, whatever.
Yes.
Like Akira was one that always made it.
I did that with Macross Plus as well.
Oh, dude.
I moved cities in between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school. And so I was kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere, relatively, without anything else to do and nobody to really come and hang out with me. I'd play Akira about 3 times a day while also playing video games.
Yeah, no, I remember I'd leave it on loop at times when I was DJing.
Oh,
just
sure.
because like that's part of the culture, part of the whole experience. But also like when I really like would stop and find myself watching it, would be when I was playing Final Fantasy VII on the first PlayStation. I was just like, yeah, I'm a weeb. I can't even recall how many times I've seen it because I remember how many times, one, people were like, oh, dude, you need to watch this then if you like this stuff.
Yeah.
And of course they were right. But then other people that I wind up trying to introduce, you know, like, oh, okay, well, we're going to watch a couple of the classics real quick. And then,
yeah, it's like Akira, Ghost in the Shell.
Well, there's Akira, there's Ghost in the Shell, there's Vampire Hunter D. That's my list. Ninja Scroll is always going to be on it because, it just is. Like, I've watched it since, and then I watched it after listening to your episode, and I was just like, yeah, no, there's no need for this. That's my group of movies that one, like, you look at this and you can 100% see how that educates not only, like, my sense of style and things that I enjoy, but also, like, the games I enjoy. Like, all these different worlds that are influenced by, like, what we see in this art, but also in, like, that cyberpunk dystopia that comes out of Akira. It's got such a lifeline through all of this.
The first time I saw it, and Kaneda had the personal beam rifle.
With all the batteries, dude.
I watched it, and I'm like, at that point being 14, I thought that there was a possibility that could exist. And I'm sad that it still doesn't exist because it just, the way it's presented in the story just feels like, oh yeah, that's a thing that's real.
That's the thing that's going to happen.
The only other movie I've ever felt that way with was Aliens with the power lifter.
There's a power armor for sure.
We're close to having something like that, but it was done in such a naturally presentable way that you're like, wait, this isn't a real thing, but why?
Well, right, and like, and they present the aesthetics of it not with like that future retroism, and they don't give it to you in a way that it looks like it's out of place.
Yeah,
it looks like something that should exist. You're totally right.
Yep.
Much like the power armor. Like I see things like that all the time. Like, have you seen a forklift?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean that's another one of the things like of why I love it so much is because sure it's fantasy, it's sci-fi, it's whatever you want to label it as. It's like
it's supernatural.
Yeah, it's supernatural for sure. But they're all people. The only people that are like super powered are the ones that were like technically the victims in the entire thing.
They are realistic and grounded, and they just happen to find themselves in extraordinary circumstances.
Truth. And like again, though, back to the visceral portions of it with like the protests and the pieces where you showed and I can't recall her name now, but
Lady Miyoka,
like that kicks off like some of the drums, and like I know that whole scene, and like everything that you're getting is more background from like a panning sequence, but they're telling part of the story with the scenery and like all of the action that's happening in the background outside of just giving you all these interactions with the characters that you're now coming to really understand.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot for all of those pieces when you're trying to analyze it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's so many aspects of the movie itself that if you don't look outside of the movie, you don't understand the depth of the context, unfortunately. That's
For sure.
I think that's its weakest point. If you don't have the prerequisite understanding, there will be things that you miss that you just don't understand
For sure. I
or
agree with
even know that you miss.
I get that from the times that like I still pick up things that are new because I was so used to just leaving it go
Yeah.
that when I'm actually sitting and paying attention to it, i.e. the other day because I wanted to refresh myself before coming here.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh yeah, holy shit, she was in the background the whole time. Like
No, I got so obsessed with it and I did so much digging into the story itself.
from like just watching even the movie, the encapsulated piece of it that does deviate from the story in the manga,
Mhm.
you're getting everything that you need through it.
Oh, it's
As you're being
definitely a
introduced-
complete story.
Yeah, it's a complete story.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that I'm curious about outside of that. Like I see what's happening there and like I'm actually happy with the conclusion.
Yeah.
But now knowing more, I'm gonna of course go ruin that. It's something I really enjoy like kind of like joking around with folks about because I used to just like scream Kaneda at a couple of close friends. Because it was a connection that we had. Like there's something about it that like, and I get it. It's not for everybody. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody out there that
No.
absolutely hates it and would want to sit here and tell us how
Sure.
stupid we are.
When we were coming up into anime, you'd want to introduce somebody to the genre
Yeah.
or to the medium. Akira to be like one of the big things.
Mhm.
The older I've gotten and the more time I've spent within it and the more media I've consumed and the more people I've interacted with in regards to anime, it's really hard to recommend an introduction anime to anybody, I feel. If you care about getting the person interested in the medium, you have to take into consideration what they're receptive to. I would really love to see them do a revisit and remake it as a limited series and do the manga thing. I don't think that'll ever happen though.
No, probably not. I'm happy that both exist and both are good because like yes, both Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood exist and no.
Tony, thanks so much for joining us on this special issue.
I was really happy that you asked me to like have a discussion on this just because like yeah, no, totally. Entry point sort of like
Foundational.
exactly.
Yeah.
It educates a lot of not only like my flavors of anime and what I've come to
Mhm.
love, but also just that is 100% referential in like clothing and music and taste
Yeah.
and all of that. Somebody apparently recently for me because I'm old in the past 5 to 10 years, I guess, remixed the entire album.
I know what you're talking about. Bwana.
Is that-
Bwana.
okay.
Yep.
I need to grab that apparently.
I have it.
Is it good?
It's really good. It's very good. He made it available for free, obviously, because he's referencing material that exists in an already owned aspect. It might still be available free. I don't know. If there is, I'll post a link
Sure.
below
Excellent.
so people can check it out and download it if it's still available. I'll have to look into it. Artist is Bwana. He's a English techno producer, and I think the album's name is Capsule's Pride.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I don't know. We'll probably have Ian again at some other point. We just got to find the right project to discuss.
That sounds fantastic.
All
We
right.
can either talk about old anime or we can find something new that I might hate and it'd be real fun.
Hell yes. I love that. That's why I'm such an angry anime reviewer. All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Don't forget to check out the regular episodes of the podcast. Currently, we are into the spring 2026 season. We're reviewing 3 new shows: Kirio Fan Club, Rooster Fighter, and Demons of the Shadow Realm. Plus, we're also going through the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya in celebration of its 20th anniversary. So don't forget to check those out. We'll see you guys next time.